Hey everybody, welcome back for Subscription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm back again with my beautiful daughter Margaret, and we are going to be doing our Irish whiskey video for 2022. We've got our whiskeys poured already. We've got them sitting in front of us. We've got them in the same order, but they are randomized. I'm going to go over a little history of these bottles. And while I'm doing that, Margaret, feel free to start nosing them whenever and all that. Okay. But I'll try not to bore you too much with all the history here. So, but the four whiskeys we have today are Tullamore D.E.W, Powers Gold Label, Bushmills Black, and Writer's Tier Copper Pot whiskey. So, last year I touched on the Irish style of whiskey a little bit. Didn't fully get into it. I talked about Irish pot still whiskey, and how it's a blend of at least 30% malted and 30% unmalted barley and distilled in a pot still. But what I didn't get into is there are basically four different official types of Irish whiskey, one of which is a blend. But there's three pure types. There is the Irish pot still, which really is called Irish single pot still. There's the Irish single malt, which is very much like a Scotch whiskey. So it is pot still distilled also with 100% malted barley. So, and then there is Irish single grain whiskey. So that is distilled in a column still, very much like most American whiskeys and all that. But it is, distilled in a column still. And then there's the Irish blended whiskeys. Ours is any combination of those three whiskeys. So it could have any two of those or all three of them perhaps. So, and the single throws a lot of people off, but the word single, when you say single malt or single, grain whiskey, does not mean it only has one grain in it. It means it's made by a single distiller, distilled at a single distillery. So the single grain whiskey can actually have multiple grains, just like a mash bill in America. The single malt, though, is 100% malted barley, so it is just one grain. And then obviously the single pot still has a combination of some percent of malted and unmalted barley. And it is allowed to have up to like 5% of some other grain, like sometimes oats or wheat are used. But most do not. Most are just purely the malted and unmalted barley.
So this is a single malt, right? The Writer's Tiers?
Yeah, none of these are pure single malts. These are actually all blended.
Oh, okay.
So, so let me go over it. So Tullamore D.E.W, I'm going to start with Tullamore D.E.W. This is our low-end whiskey we have today. Tullamore D.E.W was founded in, I don't have the years down and all that, but it was founded back in, let's say, the 1800s, near the town of Tullamore. Let's just say. So it was founded, in the town of Tullamore, and the D.E.W. Some people might think that that's just a cool thing, like kind of like Irish mist or an Irish dew, like on the grass, or whatever. But the D.E.W. is actually somebody's initials. It stands for Daniel E. Williams. So the Tullamore D.E.W. distillery actually wound up closing in the 1950s. The brand was actually taken over by Powers, and distillation for that moved to the Middleton distillery.
Powers?
This Powers,
okay.
Yeah. Moved to the Middleton distillery and was distilled there until 2010. The brand was sold to William Grant and Sons. William Grant and Sons is the number 3 worldwide distiller of Scotch. So, and they make like Glenfiddich, for instance. Everybody knows Glenfiddich. But they bought Tullamore D.E.W. In 2014, they built and opened a new distillery back near the town of Tullamore. So they are actually now distilling back in Tullamore,
Cool.
and it's still owned by William Grant and Sons. So yeah, so Powers was also, I think, founded back in the 1800s, and it is near Dublin, and the distillery they use it's the Middleton distillery. So there is a Middleton whiskey. Last year we reviewed Grain Spot, Redbreast, Jameson, Black Barrel. All three of those were distilled at the Middleton distillery.
Oh.
So this Powers is distilled at the Middleton distillery, and it is a blend of Irish pot still and grain whiskey. This guy comes in at 43%. I forgot to talk about Tullamore D.E.W. This is a blend of all three Irish whiskey types. So it's a blend of pot still, malt, and grain, and it comes in at 40%. So Tullamore D.E.W. is aged in ex-bourbon barrels and ex-sherry barrels. Powers is aged purely in ex-American oak. So either first fill bourbon or other American whiskeys. So, but only in ex-American oak. Bushmills is from Northern Ireland. It was originally from the town of Bushmill, which is only about 50 or 60 miles from Belfast, and it's considered they even say on the bottle that this is the world's oldest licensed whiskey distiller. So they actually got a royal license from the Crown in 1608 to legally distill whiskey. So might not be the world's oldest distiller, but they're the world's oldest legal or licensed distiller. So they actually didn't build the current distillery or at this current site until the 1700s, but it's they've been distilling there ever since. They've got a whole range of whiskeys. This Black Bush is a blend of what's considered a high malt blend. So it's 80% Irish malt whiskey and 20% grain whiskey. The blends from Tullamore D.E.W. and Powers are undisclosed what the percentages are, but Bushmills does tell you that it's 80% malt and 20% grain. And this is aged in ex-Oloroso sherry casks and ex-bourbon casks. And this guy comes in at 40% alcohol. This is not age stated, but it is on their website. Does basically say it's a blend of 7-year-old and older whiskeys. Bushmills was purchased in 2005 by Diageo, and then in 2014, Diageo actually traded it to Jose Cuervo for Don Julio vodka, for the Don Julio line of vodka. So this is actually still part of the Jose Cuervo family. So next up, and our last bottle for today, is Ryder's Tier Copper Pot whiskey. So this is a blend of Irish pot still and Irish single malt whiskey. So it's all distilled in copper pot stills. They do give you the percentage. It's 40% malt and 60% pot still whiskey. So this is aged entirely in ex-bourbon barrel casks, and this comes in at 40% also. So we've got 3 bottles that are 40% and one that's 43% ABV, 43.2% ABV. So they're all close in proof. So we've got 3 of them that are the same, and one that's a few points higher. They're all aged in ex-bourbon barrels, with Tullamore D.E.W. and Bushmills being aged in sherry barrels also. And Ryder's Tears is produced by a company called Walsh Distillery. Their bottling company, also Walsh Bottling. They really don't distill any of their own whiskey. They're more like a non-distiller producer. So they actually get their whiskey from other places. It's non-disclosed, but it's thought to be from Middleton and maybe some from Cooley's. All right, let me go over the price real quick before we get into nosing and tasting these. But I'm going to give you the price that I can find them for, the low price I can find them for. Prices may be a little higher in your area, but I can find Tullamore D.E.W for as low as $20. Powers and Bushmills for between $25 and $30, but I would say $30 on these, and the Riders tiers for $35 to $40. So we're looking at 20, 30, 30, 40. So proofs are similar, prices are fairly similar. So last year, two of the big hitters we tasted were redbreast and green spot. Both of those were $50, $60 plus bottles. And both those were, pure pot still Irish whiskey. So we have all blends this year, and they're all definitely lower price points. Should be more easily available, readily, easy to find. This Riders tier may be the hardest one of these to find. Certainly, Tullamore D.E.W and Bushmills, very easy to find, and Powers is easier and easier all the time. Distribution-wise, on these also, last year, and I'll put the same chart I put up last year as far as the ranking of these whiskeys globally and the ranking of these whiskeys in Ireland, or maybe I did Ireland and the United States last year, I think. But Tullamore D.E.W is the number 2 rated whiskey, Irish whiskey globally. It's number 2 to Jameson, which we tasted Jameson Black Barrel last year. And Jameson Black Barrel is a blended whiskey, and it's an amazing pour. I really like it. For coming from a bourbon lover, it's a great bottle. Powers is the number 1 selling whiskey in Ireland, Irish whiskey in Ireland. So, and has been for many a years. So, Tullamore D.E.W's number 2 globally, and I believe in the United States also, but in the United States and globally. And then Powers is number 1 in Ireland. So. All right. So you already gave these a nose. Do you have any comments on them or anything that jumped out at you?
Well, whatever this third one is awful. Sorry. Right off the bat. Coming in hot. Hot take. This last one, though, smells delicious. Can't wait to taste that one. Do I have anything more eloquent to say? We'll see. We'll see what comes out. Right off the top, no. I'm a little out of practice.
Right. Well, as is pretty typical of a lot of the blinds that I do myself or with Margaret, I have tasted all of these before, but I have not done a head-to-head comparison of these. I haven't tasted them against each other. Margaret probably has not tasted some of these at all.
I have tasted these too.
Okay, yeah. So this we got this as a gift over the Christmas holidays this past year, and we were sipping this with friends. And Tullamore D.E.W we've had in the house before.
Family favorite.
Yeah. So I can tell you, we used to drink a lot of Tullamore D.E.W and Jameson. Now Margaret didn't back when she was
a wee lad.
A wee lad, lass.
Oh, whatever.
But yeah, my wife and I, we used to drink. We weren't into bourbon, 25, 30 years ago. But we drank more Irish whiskey, so we drank some Jameson and drank a lot of Tullamore D.E.W. I haven't had a bottle of Tullamore D.E.W for probably at least 10 years, so was happy to pick this up. Out of these, this Riders tier from what I had back in the holidays, this was delicious.
Delicious.
And I've really been enjoying this Bushmills too. The Powers and Tullamore D.E.W's are good, but I'm expecting big things out of these two. So, but we'll see.
What are you smelling? What are you nosing?
I smell the maltiness. Typical on Irish or Scotch whiskeys on all of them.
Yeah, I can definitely smell that too.
On this,
I'll be curious
so
to taste
we call
it.
This 1, 2, 3, 4. So you said.
Oh yeah, 3. I started at the left. I started in the
so
wrong.
That's fine. So glass number 4 over here. Yeah, it's not as pleasant a nose as some of the other ones to me.
Oh, that's my. Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, see, I really like glass 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. We're going to have a battle here. Of course.
And glass 2 is more similar to 4.
I wonder how it'll taste.
Yeah.
2's not bad.
So to me, glass 1 and 3, I think are the less offensive on the nose to me.
Wow.
A lot of maltiness,
Feel the
fruitiness.
exact opposite.
It's probably the sherry influence. I'm just guessing that at least one of, if not both of these, are the sherry ones. A little bit of butter on 3.
Yeah, I guess.
A little floral on 1.
These 2 seem brighter than these 2.
I'd say 2 has the least powerful nose of them all.
And these seem a little on the sweeter side.
Okay. All right.
You need to start working on the old snipper. Get better adjectives up in here.
Yeah. Well, 4, when I first picked it up, wasn't anything offensive there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's the word you used.
But, well, it was a slight metallic aroma to me, which, you get sometimes from a pot still. So, I mean, these all were in a copper pot still to some level. The ones that had some grain in it, obviously, were column still. So, yeah, so all 3 of these have some grain whiskey in them also. This is the only one that does any grain whiskey in it. But these all have some combination of either Irish pot still or Irish malt whiskey, which is pot distilled. So.
Do you think you could nose out which one doesn't have grain? Is that even possible for someone to do? Because I'll just take a guess. Like I'm known to do.
Yeah, if I was taking a guess, I would go with glass 1. So, there we go on the nose. So what is your favorite? You already said initially. You said 3 was.
No,
Did
that's
you stick
my
by that.
least
Oh, that was your
favorite.
least favorite. Okay.
Well, I don't know, because now I've smelled them so many times, they're all starting to smell different, and I'm having different feelings.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, I was going in deep on 1 and 3.
I
really
thought 4.
enjoying those. And when I went to 2 and 4, I could hardly smell anything.
Yeah,
So I
I
think
agree.
1 and 3 overpowered
They do.
2 and 4.
They do. 3 just smells.
But 2 absolutely is the
Terrible.
lightest nose. I'll stick to that.
I agree. Originally, my favorite was 4, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
We'll see. Yeah, so I think off initial impressions, my favorite nose is 1. But all right, let's go through and taste them. What order do you want to do it?
Well, let's just start with 1.
Start with 1. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow. It doesn't taste anything like it smells.
No.
It smells way harsher than it tastes.
This one has a lot of, to me, a lot of spiciness, a lot of bourbon barrel influence on this, which all 4 of these were in bourbon barrels. I mean, the spiciness is just a slight
Subtle.
pepperiness on there. Peppery for me. I mean, it's not overly hot. The spice or the alcohol.
It's so smooth, don't you think?
Yeah, very
Going
nice.
down?
Very nice. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely some spiciness. So.
What is that taste that I can't identify? I guess that's just whiskey.
Well, to me, the taste I always get on these, I always call it a maltiness. Some people call it a grassiness, a grassy taste.
I would not say grassy. I would say malty. That's good.
So,
definitely getting it. Are we moving on to 2? Okay.
We don't have to yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some nose
wow,
on 2 now.
Yeah, so sweet.
Now that I haven't had my nose stuck in 1 and 3. Yeah, this one has a subtle nose, but it's a nice nose.
It smells good. Okay, a bit more of a tingle going down. Still pretty smooth. I like this one, especially compared to the first one.
See, I think I like the first one better, but that's fine. It's your taste.
It's your taste.
You said you thought 2 was sweet or sweeter than 1?
I think it smells sweeter than 1.
Okay.
I don't know if it tastes sweeter.
I think 1 tasted sweeter than 2, but yeah. All right, moving on to 3.
I will say the nose on this has changed for me, which I feel like it usually does once you start smelling and drinking and smelling.
Definitely some sweetness on this one for me.
Okay, 3 is still my least favorite on the nose.
I'd say 3 is my least favorite on the taste.
Same.
I like the nose.
It's very smooth. It kind of just, I don't know. Tastes like a foot.
Tastes like a foot.
Very insulting to
that's
someone.
Fine. No, it has a tiny amount of spice. I didn't get any spice at first.
I don't know. Not enough to make it taste good. What else are you getting?
I'm getting, the same sort of stuff I had on the other one. I had more sweetness on this one, less spice, less maltiness. I think more, just guessing here, more grain alcohol. I'm thinking, and I said this one I thought was one of the 2 sherried ones, which the 2 sherried ones are Tullamore D.E.W and Bushmills.
Okay.
So I think this actually may be the Tullamore D.E.W. Just throwing that out there. I don't know why I said I thought this one was the Writer's Tears originally, because did I say that? Because I said this one I thought was one of the sherried ones, but Writer's Tears doesn't have any sherry casks. It's just bourbon cask only. The 2 sherried ones are Tullamore D.E.W and Bushmills. So I'm just sticking with my guesses here across my impressions. I thought these 2 had the sherry finish. Tullamore D.E.W and Bushmills had the sherry finish. I said this one was my favorite nose. I'm thinking this is the Bushmills at this point. I'm thinking this is the Tullamore D.E.W. So haven't tasted 4 yet. So.
Oh, this tastes completely different. This tastes like a flower.
It does taste a lot different. Has a different aroma too. Has the most different aroma.
We got a winner here, folks. This feels super unique.
And those different tastes.
It's
got
so
more
good.
mouth coating. It's more viscous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I mentioned that. Well, I know Powers is non-chill filtered, and I think I read that Writer's Tears is non-chill filtered also, but which is hard to believe because it's only 80 proof. So I know Powers is 86.
I know this is a question I shouldn't have so late in this game. Mm-hmm. Remind me what chill filter means again.
That's where they chill filter whiskey they take some of the fatty acids out of it, so they basically freeze it down or chill it down to a very cold temperature to where those fatty acids kind of solidify and all that, and they skim them off or strain them out. And some people think it takes some flavor away and whatnot. It certainly takes it takes that away, so you don't get that in your mouth. So people think that non-chill filtered whiskeys a lot of times give you more, thicker, more mouth coating. Some people disagree with that, whether it takes flavor away or it does that to your whatever. But the reason they do that is that if they don't do that,
it looks real cloudy.
Then it'll get cloudy if it gets cold. So if you have a bottle of whiskey and you have it, in your basement, in your garage, in your car,
or freezing cold like our house,
and it gets cold, it will cloud up if it has those in there. But if they chill filter it, it will never cloud up. It always looks clear, always looks the same. And that's more of a marketing thing. People don't think, nobody will buy cloudy whiskey. It makes it look bad. It's tainted. It's turned. But that's what your chill filter is.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. I'm moving on back to one. I'm going to go back through them. This one, this board just really stands out. It's so different than the other ones.
Well, my guess is, and pretty much my orders are set, I think, but I'm going to go back there and keep tasting them. But I think 4 is the Powers.
Okay.
And it is very good.
And Powers is the number 1 in Ireland. Okay.
So I think 1 is the Bushmills. Yeah, I think it has some sherry on it. I think 2 is the Rider Steers. I think 3 is probably the Tullamore D.E.W, and it's actually my least favorite at this point. So my favorite is Class 1, my least favorite is Class 3.
Yeah. Class 3. Yeah, not even upon second taste is that one good. Okay. Which one were the sherry bottles?
Bushmills and Tullamore D.E.W.
Okay.
I mean, they both have bourbon barrels also.
Right.
So whether I'm right or wrong on my guesses of which bottle's which, I don't know, but I am sticking by my favorite nose and my favorite taste is Class 1.
It's got a good nose.
And clear.
Now that we've been over it.
Yeah, you have different preferences. That's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got different preferences.
But things change when you're tasting and smelling. And, I don't know.
Right.
I'm kind of into this one now.
As much as I liked the nose on Glass 3 and thought it was very similar to Glass 1, it was my least favorite sip.
Yeah.
Glass 4 is pretty solid.
It's just so different than the others. What is that?
Which one did you have floral on?
The last one.
Yeah, I get floral on 4.
Just in the nose and in the taste. I mean, it tastes like a flower.
Definitely like it better than 3.
And I feel like it's getting kind of sweet. Well, you guessed all yours. I feel like I gotta make a guess.
You don't have to.
Oh, I do.
Well, and I'll keep talking, but these are all blends, as I meant. These 3 are these are all blends. And I said Rider Steers basically just buys distillate from other distillers and blends it up. But these other guys, have a full line of whiskeys, obviously. Well, Tullamore D.E.W, not so much. I think they have a Caribbean rum finish, Tullamore D.E.W. They might have a 12-year Tullamore D.E.W.
What?
But
a Caribbean rum finish?
They do, yeah. We should try that.
Oh, we should try that.
Powers and Bushmills in particular, they have a full range of Irish single malt whiskeys, some age-stated single malt whiskeys, and also Powers has some some pot still, some Irish single malt, some single pot still whiskeys. So, so some of the powers, the Three Swallow is a pot still. The John's Lane is a 12-year pot still. They're blending, obviously they're distilling pot still, the single malts and the grain whiskeys and blending them together. Very few very few grain whiskeys are released. Irish grain whiskeys are released just as a whiskey. They pretty much all go into blends, but there's certainly pot still and single malts that are released just as they are. I think the number of Irish single malts is growing, and that's the one that's very close and very similar to Scotches. That Scotches are single malts, so the Irish single malts, the number of distillers making those and the number of products out there is growing drastically. But the Irish pot still is very strong also. So, and that's unique to Ireland. So
cool.
All right. Any more? I mean, you don't have to guess, but definitely need to rank though, I would think. So.
Oh, I'm gonna guess.
Well, it's hard to guess if you haven't even tried some of these, but you can guess.
And the last time we did have this at Christmas or New Year's. Somewhere
holidays.
in there.
The
holidays. This I haven't had for years. I mean,
right.
Who knows how long? And I've never had either of these, so it will purely just be a guess.
Right. Well, I will tell you, I mean, my channel's all about bourbon. I've really only been deep into bourbon for, less than 10 years for sure. So back when I was in my, in my 20s, let's say 20, 30 years ago, I, like I say, I used to drink some Tullamore D.E.W. I bought a Bushmills, not a Black Bush, but just I think it's their white label, whatever their low end one is. I bought a bottle of Bushmills. That is one of the few bottles of whiskey that I never finished and poured down the drain. So, that was 30 years ago when I was, didn't know what, but like I say, I've been sipping these for the last, month or so. This guy's been loving it. I actually haven't sipped this since we had it over the holidays. Mm-hmm. I haven't touched this since then. So I've been sipping these 3 over the last month. This guy's has seemed a little weak, a little harsh compared to what I used to drink, or like 30 years ago. This guy, obviously, I said I did a drain pour on one 30 years ago, and now I love it. This guy I never had before. But he's been enjoyable. So, but yeah, if glass 4 is Powers, which is my guess, I'm actually putting it very neck and neck with the Writer's Tears.
It's so different.
With glass,
you say that with
glass
confidence,
two, with glass 2. I shouldn't say it, but 2 and 4 are pretty neck and neck. In fact, I'm going to call.
Okay. I think 2 and 4 did smell a bit similar.
Yeah. Well, I think 1 and 3 smell similar to me. 2 and 4 do. I'm actually going to put 2 a hair above 4, particularly on the nose, not on the taste.
Okay.
Taste-wise, they're different, but I think 2 has a slightly better nose than 4. 3 had a better nose, I thought, than 2 and 4, but taste dropped it down. But my ranking is 1, 2, 4, 3. But
okay. My ranking 4 is the clear winner. 1 is a close second, then 2, and 3 I would not even place in the running.
Very nice.
Bad.
So we're closer. We both have 3 last
place.
Okay, that's good. You've got 4 first.
4 first.
And I've got 4, almost tied for second, but I called it third. And I've got 1 first, and you've got it second.
Uh-huh.
And then So it's 2. I've got second. You've got third. So we'll figure that out.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. Number 1 in second place. Writer's Tears. It's salty, as if someone were crying.
Okay.
Number 2. I'm gonna say Powers because it's got a pretty bottle.
Okay.
3. Bushmills because it's got an ugly bottle and a boring label.
Okay.
And 4 is Tullamore D.E.W because it's a family fave and I think that we've got good taste.
Nice.
How did I do?
You nailed it 100%.
Wait, what?
On your guesses. Which means my guesses were 100% wrong.
No way.
Yeah.
Those were all guesses. Just my reasoning.
My favorite is Writer's Tears. My least favorite is Bushmills.
Yeah. Boring.
So, and
What did I say these were? This was Powers.
you said this one was
Tullamore
Tullamore D.E.W.
D.E.W.
This is Tullamore D.E.W.
Yeah.
That was your favorite.
It's my fave. Who knew?
It was my third. And really my second and third were so close.
What was the second? Powers. Right. Okay.
And in fact, I will just call these even. Really.
Even. Okay.
I think this one had a better nose, but this one had a, taste-wise they were the same. None of these have a real long finish.
Mm-hmm.
So finish almost doesn't even come to play here.
No.
The finish is just short.
Very.
But they definitely have an aroma. They have a nose. They have a taste. So I think between these two, they split on aroma and taste. But yeah. So the Powers is 2. The Tullamore D.E.W. is 4. So this one, so these two are the two that had some sherry influence on them. Which I kept thinking this one did.
Well, I would have guessed 2 and 4 just because they smell a little similar, they taste a little similar.
So
I would have thought that they were the ones.
Well, we're the same there, although the ones you thought were sherry and the ones I thought were sherry were opposite. we both thought 2 and 4 had a similar nose,
right? And 1
we both
and 3.
thought 1 and 3 had a similar nose.
Yeah.
And I thought 1 and 3 were the sherry, and you're saying you thought 2 and 4 were the sherry.
Yeah,
we
were all wrong.
But yeah.
I can't.
One has the best nose, to me.
1 is delicious. It really is.
And 1 has some spice on there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all ex-bourbon barrels.
It's the spiciest of all these.
I guess I didn't go back and taste them in a reverse order, which I normally do. So when I tasted 2 after 1, it had spice also.
Nah.
Well, I am surprised that the biggest surprise of them all to me is that I ranked my Bushmills Black Label last. I really thought.
And here you go. This is we're gonna pour it down the drain. Just kidding. We won't do that.
No, I really thought coming into this that it was gonna be between these two.
Uh-huh.
I thought this one was gonna be last. So, but clearly this guy came in last for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy
these.
You had this first.
Yeah.
I had this first. I had what's Tullamore D.E.W. and Powers. I had these two neck and neck. To where you went Tullamore D.E.W., Writer's Tears, and Powers. So
yeah, good stuff.
yeah, I mean, none of this. I mean, these are all easy sippers, really.
Definitely.
I mean, they're not over. They're no more than 83 proof, 86 proof. I mean, 80, 86 proof.
Yeah.
They're not going to knock you on the floor.
No.
Keep sipping these. I could probably keep sitting here smelling them and pulling out some other aromas. But yeah, the maltiness, comes through. I think all four of them, if I was just giving them on the blind, now would I say, oh, that's an Irish, or I might, I would say it's an Irish or a Scotch for sure. As opposed to any kind of American whiskey, so I think the maltiness does come through on all of them.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
This one's just. Sorry, Bushmill people, don't come at me.
Yeah.
I am surprised. I thought that 4 would be Writer's Tears. No, sorry. I thought my favorite was going to be Writer's Tears.
Well, then why'd you guess that was Tullamore D.E.W?
Because I just went with the family. I was like, I don't know. I was making it all up. I don't know.
Now you were spot on.
This was my reasoning.
You
Did you hear my reasoning?
Yeah.
This one because it tastes like tears.
Yeah.
I mean, this one because the bottle's ugly.
You nailed them across the board. I mean, it was Writer's Tears.
Terrible reasons.
It was Powers. It was Bushmills. It was Tullamore D.E.W. So, I mean, just as you called them. I was clearly wrong. That one was not Bushmills. This one was not Tullamore D.E.W. This one was not Writer's Tears. And, whatever. So, I had not one single guess right. And
I don't know.
You had all 4 of your guesses right.
Those were all just lucky. But I did switch. I thought Writer's Tears would be my favorite, but I thought I remembered that it was more, I don't want to say spicy, but it has a bit more of a kick. Is the only one that I really remember because it's the one we've had that I've had most recently.
Yeah. Less than 2 months ago, we were sipping.
So, and that's why I didn't say that this one was it, because it doesn't really have a kick. It's real mellow, smooth, very floral. It's chilling. It's good. Definitely a good sipping.
Yeah. As I finish off my Bushmills now, I still come back to. I love the nose on this one. I think the Writer's Tears and the Bushmills noses are very close to each other. But the Writer's Tears on the taste beats it hands down. It's
that saltiness.
And then on the taste, the Tullamore D.E.W. and the Powers, even though I didn't think their noses were as good for me, their tastes were better than the Bushmills, without any question. So.
Yeah, now I want to drink more Tullamore D.E.W. And, I mean, it's got a great name. Although I will say, I was more on the mist side of things. Now that I know it's someone's initials, it's a little less magical.
See, I was wondering about that. I was wondering if a lot of y'all thought that was like.
Oh, I definitely did. The dew in Tullamore.
Irish dew, kind of like Irish Springs.
Yeah.
Irish dew.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Noob over here.
So, well, I had thought that also for these many years. It wasn't until I started looking into these that I found out. And most of the labeling actually has D period,
oh, it
E
does.
period, W period.
I have never noticed that.
So there's a period. It's Daniel
clearly initials.
E. Williams, yes. So, which.
What do we guess the E stands for?
It didn't say on the research I did, but probably Edward, but who knows? But it could be anything. But that family has not been associated with the company for over 150 years at this point, if not close to 200 years. Definitely 150 years. But yet it keeps the name. So it was from the town of Tullamore, and it was Daniel E. Williams is the one that started distributing it. So.
Well, it's good on taste, but it lost a little magic for me.
All right. Well, this was a nice lineup.
It really was.
Hopefully, we helped some people out there. Pick their Irish whiskeys for St. Patrick's Day, 2022.
Yeah. Also, this is cheap. What did you say? $20? $30?
$20.
$20.
$20.
That's a real winner. You know. That's a winner.
Yeah. The Powers, I do believe I got this for $25. The Powers. But it doesn't seem to be as readily available as the Tullamore D.E.W. This Bushmills Black Bush was $30, and the Writer's Tier is definitely the least readily available around here for me. I mean, it's not so easy to find, but when I have seen it, it's been 40 plus, 40, 45, $50. So this was actually a gift, so I didn't buy it, but my research shows that it should be $40 or so, 40, $45. So.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to take my Writer's Tears.
Yeah, my Writer's
Tears.
Tears.
Cry all the way home.
That was good. Because your guesses were bad?
Yes. All right. Remember, everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon.
And the best bourbon comes from Kentucky.
But all Irish whiskey comes from Ireland.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This Writer's Tears is really good.